during MCO1. So you have 6 months of moratorium. So by rights, if let's say you have 30 years of tenure, okay, 30 years of tenure, which means you have to pay 360 months, right? 360 months in total. But because of you have this 6 months of moratorium, it will bring forward, and you do not have to pay right now for the first 6 months, but you will have to pay later on, which means you're going to add on to 6 months of your tenure. In total, you have to pay 366 months. I'm not sure if all of you actually see this inside your bank account. If you log into your bank account, you will see that you actually have extra of 6 months. Anyone realize that? If you realize that, give me a 5. If you realize that, hey, there's additional 5 months that I have to pay, or 6 months I have to pay. Okay? Alright? So 6 months extra on this moratorium, and then after on, so government was very afraid that anyone would default after that. So what happened is that a lot of banks were still calling you up. You see, bank doesn't want to take possession of your property, and they do not want to auction off your property unnecessarily. They still want to give you a last chance. If you can afford to pay, if you can't go through the hardest and you still can continue paying it, the banks wants your business. So what the bank do is, the bank basically give you last chance. They give you a call. They call. I realize a lot of people receive the call, including myself. They call up everybody and ask if you can afford to pay your installment. If you can afford to pay your installment, that's fine. If you can't pay off your installment, here's what the bank will do. If you already have deduction from your salary, or you are being retrenched, you are a victim of retrenchment, and what will happen is that the bank will give you another 3 months of moratorium, which means supposedly March last year until September is 6 months, and then from September to December another additional of 3 months. So in total you will have a 9 months of moratorium. All right, so which means in total, rather than paying 366 months, you will have to pay 369 months if you ask for additional of 3 months moratorium. Now there are certain special cases whereby after this 9 months of moratorium, there are people who still can't afford to pay for the full installment. So here's what the bank were able to do it with you, which is rather than paying the full moratorium, or rather paying the full installment, now the bank will actually give you another round of chance, which is allowing you to pay only the interest. Okay, there are certain bank who allows you to do that. They will keep on calling you and see if you still can pay. If you can't, they will offer you a certain kind of amount that you are comfortable with, and then they will delay again the moratorium period, and they will delay the tenure. So rather than 369 months, probably you have more months to pay. So if this time you take on another 3 months, okay, it will be added up to another 3 months, which means you could be 372 months. Okay, now if you take 6 months, okay, let's say you think that I can still pay installment, but because of certain incidental costs that incur to me during this period of time, or because of my income has been reduced, all these reasons, probably I will be comfortable to pay for 50% moratorium. Now if you are able to pay for 50%, your support will be longer, which means you're gonna get 6 months of support. Now there are people who think that, moratorium add on to 12 months of my tenure, it doesn't matter, because my property, do not think that I will hold it on for a long time. Perhaps I want to flip it, or perhaps I'm staying here, but I don't think I will stay for the entire 30 years. Nowadays it's different compared to your grandfather or grandmother period, whereby they have one house, they have the whole entire intention that I want to stay here until I die. But there are a lot of people nowadays, they do not want to stay long in their property. They probably want to stay for 10 years and then they want to upgrade themselves to a better house. So if that is the case, then a lot of people think that, add on another 12 months of moratorium, to me, it doesn't make a difference. Perhaps I only pay extra interest for the 12 months, but then if I'm selling my property at a profit and it able to cover all this redemption sum that I owe it to the bank, then you know what? It's okay. Some people have that kind of mindset. Then if you do have that kind of mindset, that is fine. That is perfectly fine with you. Unless you cannot cope with this moratorium in the future, you think that you have to pay extra 1 year, then you are so you are so concerned about the extra 1 year, then do not take the moratorium. But to many people, this moratorium can help them a lot, because especially 3 months, you don't have to pay for any installment. You will be a lot relief. You feel a lot of relief, and you can actually proceed with all these expenses or debts that you have to pay off. Right. Now, this will be starting on the 1st of June, which is already starting this month, early this month, up to end of this year, up to December this year. So if you want to apply for this, you still can apply to the bank. You can still call up the bank and apply for it. Now, usually they actually say that it's going to be automatic, but not everyone going to get it. So it's best that you actually give your bank a friendly call and ask them if you are going to get this moratorium. All right, 3% SME financing. Now, like what I've said just now, we have got 3.5% financing from this targeted relief program. But on top of that, you also have 3% SME loan. If you are a small and medium enterprising businesses, okay, and you are being affected by this pandemic, you are allowed to borrow from all this institution, the MARA, BSN, Bank Simpanan Nasional, National Entrepreneur Group Economic Fund, Tekun, or Small and Medium Enterprises Corporation, which is SME Corp. Okay, so rather than getting a normal SME percentage, which is 4%, you are only getting a 3% loan. This is a very, very, very good loan from the government. Why do I say so? Is because most of this SME loan, unlike mortgages, SME loan basically do not have collateral. The collateral is a grantor, has a director. You have to be grantee this institute, but you do not have any collateral. So normally property that when you borrow money for property, okay, your property will be collateral. But in this case, because there's no collateral, it's supposed to be a higher risk to the companies, to the banks, and to the institution. So when it is a higher risk to the institution, they normally charge you a higher rate. But for a 3%, you know that right now, all this housing loan mortgages is only charging 2.9% to 3.1%, depending on your situation and depending on how high is your risk. Now, when they are charging you 3% SME loan, which means it's actually exactly like the housing loan interest rate. So if you are having trouble and you want to get a loan financing, you can try all these institutions to be able to get some loan from these institutions. Okay, all these institutions are able to give you loan, but however, it also depending on your secrets and your record as well. Alright, so this is something that I find it quite amusing for me, because I don't think this is going to help a lot of people, because what it says that is, if you are in this industry, if you have operating shopping mall, travel agency, okay, convention centers, theme parks, hotel operators, if you are in these businesses, okay, what government's gonna do is to give you a 10% rebate discount on your electricity bill from July to September 2021. So I find it amusing is because all these people are badly affected, but then they are only entitled to 10% of the electricity bills. I would think that hotel may not be able to operate to the full scales. Okay, they probably have to shut down totally. They probably do not have any electricity bills at all. What about theme park? Theme park has not been operating for a year plus now, and you talk about electricities. I don't think it's gonna help them. Okay, look at Disneyland. Disneyland has closed for many months now. I would say that they're already close to 2 years. They're closing down now, and there are rumors saying that Disneyland is going to shut down. Disneyland theme park. Yeah, they are going to shut down. They are running out of business. There are so many rumors, but Disneyland, being a Disneyland, they are able to, they are resilient and they rebound back very easily, and they come out with their own channel, which is Disney Channel. I think that actually helps their current business as well. Now, convention center, we talk about convention center. A lot of convention center indeed have been converted into vaccination center.